Kathy Van Aken is a glass and clay artist who enjoys working in her studio every day. Whether starting a new clay mask or cold working in an almost completed glass piece, when she's in her studio, she is in the zone, fully absorbed with an energized focus, free from everyday reality and the arbitrary limitations of time. She is thankful for this gift that art offers in the time of COVID. And I think we've all learned that in this time of COVID that time is a construct. So I appreciate that, Kathy. So welcome. Let's see, are you
Thank you.
Here? Okay, great. Hi.
Thank you. Hi.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great, great. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
So let's jump right into it. Let's talk about your artistic process.
Well, I thought about it for this interview. I hadn't really thought through what exactly my process is, and I really have two very distinct processes. I have one that's very impulsive and unpredictable, and that's where I don't make maquettes or do a grand scheme or drawing. I just maybe rough something out and then go. And I find that within an hour, I've already moved off of the off of the rough schematic anyway. So one example would be masks. When I make masks, I start with a chunk of clay, and I'm not sure where I'm going ever. And the face kind of emerges, and I don't know whether it's going to be a man or woman, young, old, ethnicity, until I'm in the process, and then it comes alive. I love it because it's very freeing, and I don't have to worry about following a script, so to speak. And another time that I feel very free and impulsive is when I use materials that are left over from other glass pieces, and I try to make them work. And that really is a creative process, just to try to make use of things, colors and shapes, etc., that were cast-offs, but just leftover waste basically from bigger projects. And so I can start off maybe thinking about what colors I want to use, and I end up moving, leaving some behind and adding some. So it's kind of the similar process to the mask making. It's very organic and not really planned, at least not that much. But then there's other specific projects that I do that are based on ideas and condition, and for those projects I usually mold them over for a long time, and they may be inspired by a newspaper article, by poetry, by something I see in an art gallery or on the news. And because I usually then I know specifically what I want to do, and sometimes I don't have the process. I'm not technologically have the technology to do it in glass yet. So then I may wait, and it could carry this idea around I have several ideas I've carried around for years. And a couple of situations I take a class, and it turns out that is the perfect medium to make this project that I want to make. So then I pursue that, and usually that involves a lot of planning. So, there's just so many possibilities with glass. There's solid casting. Pâte de verre, which is hollow, a kind of a hollow casting, which makes a paper thin form, which is what I needed for one of these ideas that I had. And finally I took the class and go, oh, this will work. So anyway, so I have these sort of two very different processes depending on where I'm headed, I guess. Yeah.
Do you have a preference for either, or is it just really pertaining to whatever the project needs?
Get the first.
Do you have a preference for structured versus kind of the free?
Oh no, I really don't. I love both processes. Yeah, I enjoy both of them.
And you have both experience or work in ceramics and glass. So is there one that you tend to go to over the other, or is it kind of they're both equal passions?
I would say they're equal passions. Recently, I've been doing more glass. I have a lot of glass, and so I need to get busy. So I've been doing more glass. But the beauty of ceramics and glass is that you can making pâte de verre or doing castings, lost wax casting, I make clay models first. And so I make the whatever it is in glass, I mean, excuse me, in clay, and then I cast around it, turn it into glass. So, and sometimes I can actually recover the clay from the mold and have a glass and a clay of the same thing, which is fun. So it's a perfect marriage of the two, really.
Yeah, yeah, that's wonderful. Is that something that happens often, having both those, the recovered ceramic piece and the glass piece, or is that something that's a rarity?
Well, no, it happens whenever I do a solid casting. Clay model. Whenever I do the paper thin forms that you get from pâte de verre, which is basically creating a clay model, covering it with a casting material, and then getting the clay out, and then patting powdered glass and ground up glass, fine ground glass, into the mold itself, and it stays there. It attaches to the sides if you have gum arabic or something to help adhere it. So I use them a lot. I use the clay a lot in my glass. Those two are the two methods of glass making that really require the use of clay, and I enjoy that. And I also make clay masks and other things out of clay and for just their own purpose,
So what keeps you motivated to create these pieces?
Well, I've always been motivated. I just when I was a kid, I drew for hours and hours at the coffee table in my house. When I was a teenager, I really didn't pursue art because I was so self-conscious. It's a bad time for some people like me. I've always felt everybody was so much better than I was. Kids who had a lot of art classes, and then I became a mom, and then all my energies, my artistic energy, and I was working say 50 hours a week. And I had one son. My artistic energies went to creating piñatas and making mugs and Halloween costumes, and butting in on his art projects at school and his posters, and he was just wanted me to just go away, but that was the only outlet that I really had at the time. And so now I'm retired, and I can really just do as much or as little of art as I want to do. And I do work every day, almost every day, in my studio for at least some period of time. And even when I go on a vacation, if it's for more than a few days, I take a lump of clay with me, and just so I can, and a pad, and I work on, in the evenings or whatever, when there's some downtime. It's just, I don't miss home as much as I miss the clay. But I can't take the glass with me. I can't do anything with the glass in a hotel condo, but I can use the clay, and have done that.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I was making eggheads for a while, and so that was great because I could make eggheads in hotel rooms and come home with 5 or 6 eggheads and a vacation.
Nice. Did those eggheads have like themes?
Well, no, they ended up in a jar with a lid on it with air holes. I don't know if you did this, but when I was a kid, we'd collect ladybugs and put them in a jar, and we'd always open the lid for, put holes in the lid so they could breathe. And I was inspired because I think of family, it's called family reunion. And I think, all these different family members are stuck in this jar together, and there's air holes. They're still alive in there, but they're, so I used different facial expressions on all of them. And it was interesting. The first person who bought one was a psychologist, and she said, I'm going to put this on the corner of my desk. This conversation. So that went to a good home.
That's great. That sounds really appropriate. The psychologist.
Yeah.
Great. So can you tell me a little bit about your influences for the style of work that you do?
Well, I was trying to think of artists that inspire me, and I didn't come up with any specific names because I kind of look at each art piece that I come in contact with as an art piece, not who it's by or whatever. And so I just kind of collect photographs. I collect, magazine pictures and articles. And like I said, poetry. And I read a book about, called The Entangled Life, I believe, about fungus and how critical fungus is to all plant life on Earth. Who knew?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know anything about it. And it kind of inspired me to art piece that would portray that in a you know, a beautiful way. And so I get inspiration from all of those things. And there's a museum of glass in Tacoma, Washington, that has, I mean, really incredible exhibits. And I love going there because there's so much innovation and really just incredible artists. And I like to go there and try to engineer some of the stuff that they've done and see if I can do it. I use it in a different way, but use that concept. And I have gotten a lot of really good ideas. And sometimes mine turn out, whatever they are, don't quite come out the way I wanted them to, but there's something new. And so, you know, that's good too. There's a lot of happy accidents. And so anyway, so it's, I say it was individual pieces. And then also, if I have my camera with me or even my iPhone, if you're in the camera state of mind, I don't know if you've done any photography, but I dabbled in it a little bit. And when I've got my camera and I'm thinking pictures, the Bullseye Glass store is on a very sort of industrial street in Emeryville. And I walked down that street on the way to lunch and back, just thinking, what is interesting and geometric? And I had like 25 pictures that were incredible of geometry and various, you know, buildings and little alleyways, etc. And, you know, I missed that. I'd walked down that street before, never even noticed any of it. So if you're in that kind of a frame of mind where you're looking for ideas, they're everywhere, I think.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're pretty good at motivating yourself and
I am totally
inspiring yourself.
Yeah, I love it. I don't need any motivation. Yeah, no, I really, external motivation, let's put it that way. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. So I think this may be the best time of my life, even though I'm older. It's a time when I'm really free to make what I want to make. I have the time, I have the energy, I have the health, and you know, I don't need to worry about supporting myself with my art. I can make what I really want. Really
exactly.
quite freeing.
Yeah. I mean, that pulls me back to what, you know, you shared in your bio about this kind of like arbitrary limitation of time, you know, like being an older artist. Do you feel like your time is limited in a sense of getting the work that you want to do in your head out there? Or is it just, you know more, you have this experience and you can like put that all into what you're doing right now?
I try to just put it all into what I'm doing right now, but I do have some bucket list art projects that hopefully I'll get done. But you do, I mean, you know, as you get older, you do realize that your life is, you know, you get a sense of your own mortality. And so there is that you just always kind of is always there. But when I'm working on, my beauty of working on art is that, you know, when I'm working on it, I'm any of that. I'm not, I can go in there at noon and come out at, I don't know, 5, 6. And I have no idea how much time has passed, you know, so it's,
that resonates with me.
Yeah, it's just a joy. And so I think I can appreciate time more probably now than I would have when I was younger. Yeah.
That's great. So why don't you let us know where we can find your work and how to contact you?
Okay. I have a website. It's vanakenart.com, and I'm going to have it updated soon, but it's, you know, it's still got a good variety of my work shown on there, and a lot of it is still available. And I'm also in the art house on 1020 R Street in Sacramento, around Midtown, and I'm in Studio 7 there. So you can come and visit me there or at my website.
Oh, great. You're not too far from me, so I can walk down and come visit.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Anytime.
Yeah. Well, it was
Saturday.
really, I'm sorry?
It's second Saturday. We're open.
Oh,
now.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect, perfect. So Art House is open on second Saturdays.
It's open on second Saturdays. They changed the times though. Now it's open from 10 to 4, I think. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know. I think maybe a lot of people might not have realized that it's reopened. So
Right. It just,
yeah.
I think it reopened. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you again for joining us today and sharing a bit about your process and your beautiful work.
Thank you.
Really glad to have you here.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Have a
See you
great day.
soon. You too.
Bye.
Bye.